In this video, I will be demonstrating the impression process for our ProFit orthotic inserts. Be sure you have gathered all the materials needed. They are listed in the video description below and on the checklist that came with the kit. First, using the supplied plastic film as a length guide, create 2 plaster sections 5 layers thick, 1 for each foot. Next, set the footbeds in place and become familiar with how they feel. Be sure your heels are against the backstops and your forward knee position has your kneecaps over the middle of your toes. If you ordered modified shoes that were widened from our standard width, you may notice that your feet hang over the side edges of the footbed slightly. This is okay and works as a register so you know your foot is centered correctly on the footbed. We will make the proper adjustments and corrections on our end during production, so do not worry about feeling that edge. Just try to center your foot in the footbed as evenly as possible. Once you are familiar with how they feel, lay the plastic film on the footbeds. If you are alone, you should only attempt 1 foot at a time. You can do 2 at a time if you have a helper available, otherwise there will be too much movement. Be sure the film completely covers the footbed and backstop. Submerge one of the 5-layer sections in the water for about 3 seconds. Work the plaster up and down like an accordion as you see here, making the plaster milky in consistency. Lay the plaster on top of the footbed, making sure it extends past the front of the footbed and past the heel register. Place the foot down over the plaster, repositioning it back in the correct spot. Wrap the plaster up on the sides of the foot from the ball of the foot back, but leave the toe area laying out over the tip of the footbed. This will be used as a register later, so the plaster sits back in the footbed for shipping. Make a bead on the side so the plaster does not wrap too far around the foot. You basically want to wrap up onto the side of the foot farther than the orthotic will ultimately be, but not so far that it makes the foot difficult to remove once the plaster is set. Continue to smooth and work the sides. Once the plaster begins to firm up, sit with good posture and continue to let the plaster harden. Setting times can vary wildly depending on where you are. Hard and soft water, humidity, and even elevation will affect this. Once it begins to set, you will typically have anywhere from 3 to 20 minutes of setting time. Do not lift your foot until it is hardened. You can reach down and feel the plaster. If it has soft, pliable parts, you need to wait. Once hardened, lift the foot and plaster up and pull off the film. Carefully remove your foot. Now, remove the 2 rubber bands and foam from the footbed. Then snap the plaster back into the footbed. This will hold the footbed in position for shipping. Repeat the process for the other foot. Be sure the molds are completely dry before packing up. This is very important. If the molds are packed up wet, the moisture will begin to break down the plaster. Wet molds run the risk of arriving to us distorted. It is recommended to let them air dry for 24 to 48 hours, or you can place them in front of a fan and this will typically dry them in just a few hours. Be sure when you return the kit and impressions to us, you do not forget the foam inserts. And that's going to be about it for this video. Reach out to us if you have any questions, and if you have not already, please subscribe to this channel and ring that bell to be notified of any future product videos. Thanks everyone.